Hey guys, it's Miss Carabelli. So I am at Henry's Easter egg hunt / party. So I just wanted to go over this with you. We will definitely go over this together, like while I'm actually there in person, but this will just be a good start. So at this point, you should have already done your MemBean training, and you should have already done your study guide for Book 1 in the Odyssey. So now, if you haven't already done so, you need to go and get this packet that is on your screen right now for this video. It is in the front of the room. You need a highlighter and you need a pencil. So I just need you to follow along with me. So if there's something that you need to write down or complete during the video, just press pause so that you can do that. Okay, so last week we were talking about prepositional phrases as adjectives. This week we're going to talk about them as adverbs. Prepositional phrases, like, they can be either adjectives or adverbs. So it's still just a prepositional phrase that begins with a preposition and ends with an object, which is a noun or a pronoun. But we last week talked about how they are modifying nouns and pronouns, because that's what adjectives do. And then this week we're going to talk about how they are modifying a verb, an adjective, or another adverb acting as an adjective. So the first thing I did, I highlighted right here just where it says, now we'll study prepositional phrases that act as adverbs. And then I put a little star right here because this is the review. So phrases, we know, are groups of words that act together as a single part of speech. Prepositions are always in prepositional phrases. Like, you can't have a preposition that's not in a phrase. If you do, then it's probably an adverb, not a preposition. Prepositional phrases always begin with a preposition and end with a noun or a pronoun, and prepositional phrases can act as adjectives. So now the lesson is acting as an adverb. So look at this sentence. It says, the paper airplane landed there. So the word there is bolded, and I highlighted it, so do that as well. So anything I highlight, you highlight. Anything I write, you write. So what kind of word is there? Well, it's telling me where it landed. Landed is a verb. Where is an adverb question, so there is acting as an adverb. So that's why I wrote ADV, drew an arrow, and where the airplane landed, there. There is an adverb modifying landed. It tells us where the airplane landed. Highlight that. Now look at this sentence. The paper airplane landed in the bushes. So now we don't have there, we have a prepositional phrase. So I put it in parentheses. In is a preposition. The is an adjective. Bushes is our OP. So in the bushes is telling us where the airplane landed. So just like this word, this adverb is telling us where, this phrase is doing the same thing. It's telling us where. So this prepositional phrase is acting as an adverb. So in the bushes is a prepositional phrase. The whole phrase is acting as an adverb. The prepositional phrase answers an adverb question. It tells us where the plane landed. Okay? Now how to diagram those. So I highlighted this and kind of skipped down right here. So it says, if you guess that an adverbial prepositional phrases are diagrammed under the verbs, adjectives, or adverbs that the phrases are modifying, you are correct. That makes sense because adverbs modify verbs, adverbs, or adjectives. So again, you know what an adverb is. It modifies a verb, an adjective, or another adverb. So that's the exact same thing that a prepositional phrase would be doing if it was acting as an adverb. Okay, so turn the page. Okay, so here's the same sentence that we just talked about. So you have airplane subject, landed verb. The and paper are both adjectives modifying airplane. We talked about how in the bushes was a prepositional phrase telling us where it landed. So in is your preposition, bushes is your object, the is your adjective. So it's underneath landed because it's modifying landed. Last week, we were diagramming them underneath airplane because they were acting as adjectives, but this is telling us where, okay? So right here, object of the preposition, bushes, prepositional phrase acting as an adverb. So then I wrote right here, prepositional phrase acting as an adverb modifying a verb, okay? Does that make sense? Most adverbial prepositional phrases will modify verbs just like in the example above, but keep in mind that they can also modify adjectives and adverbs. Okay, so look at this sentence. The paper airplane landed in the bushes, just like this one, but then it says behind the house. So let's think about it. In the bushes is still telling us what? Where it landed. Now behind the house is telling us which bushes, the ones that are behind the house. Now we did one similar to this last week. This is a prepositional phrase modifying the object of the preposition. So we know that the object of the preposition is a noun or a pronoun. So that means this phrase is acting as an adjective. So this one's acting as an adverb, modifying a verb, where. This is acting as an adjective because it's telling us which bushes, and bushes is a noun. Okay, so look at this one. Still, airplane landed, the paper, describe an airplane. You still have in the bushes, same place, because it's still an adverb telling you where the airplane landed. But now we're adding this onto it because behind the house is modifying which bushes, okay? So you just still do your prepositional phrase just like normal. Behind is your preposition, house is your object, and then the is your adjective. Does that make sense? So right here it says in the bushes is an adverbial prepositional phrase modifying landed. Behind the house is an adjective prepositional phrase telling us more about the noun bushes, which bushes. Adjective prepositional phrases can modify any noun or pronoun. Okay, so we're going to skip to this page. Okay, so I'm going to not show you this yet. So this sentence is Eric's new book fell on the floor. So I'm going to give you a second and I want you to label it. So the first thing I did was what? Put my prepositional phrase in parentheses. On is a preposition. The is an adjective. Floor is my OP. Then I'm going to start at the beginning. Now this one was kind of like the one on your test that some of you missed, where I think it was like Maria's bright dress. Eric's is not my subject, okay? Eric by itself is a noun, but Eric's with an apostrophe S, that is telling you whose book. So that's an adjective, okay? So book is actually your subject because that is what Eric's and new is describing. So Eric's is an adjective, new is an adjective, book is a subject, fell is a verb, and then we have our prepositional phrase. Now before I diagram it, I'm going to ask myself, what is on the floor modifying? Well, it's telling us where it fell, okay? So it's acting as an adjective. Think about how it would be different if it was it's acting as an adverb. Think about how it would be different if it was acting as an adjective. If we said Eric's new book on the floor fell, then on the floor would be telling us which book, and it would be acting as an adjective. But the way that this sentence is written is you have on the floor telling you where it fell, okay? So try to control yourself from keep and go and press pause for a second and see if you can diagram it. Okay, so I'm going to show you what I did. So here we go. Yeah, book fell, and I spelled Eric's name differently here, sorry. Eric's and new are both describing book. Fell is our verb. On the floor is telling us where it fell, so that's why I said on preposition, floor object, and then the is modifying floor, and it's all underneath fell because it's acting as an adverb. Does that make sense? Okay, now look at your key. Fill this in just like I did. So we already have the sentence. Book is our subject. Fell is our verb. Adjectives modifying book. Eric's and new. Prepositional phrase, which is an adverb, on the floor. Oh, and I didn't fill this out. On, what are we going to write? Preposition. Floor, what are we going to write? OP. The, what are we going to write? Adjective. Okay, then the last thing. Okay, for number 2, I did not do this for you because I want you to do this. So what you're going to do is you are going to label it first, and then you're going to diagram underneath it. So let's look at what it says. It says tip. Sentences are full of nouns. This can sometimes make it hard to find the subject. Subjects will never be in prepositional phrases. Crossing out all prepositional phrases can make it easier to find the subject. Now, we are not crossing out prepositional phrases. We are going to put the prepositional phrases in parentheses. So the reason why we do that is for this same reason, so that you can focus in your mind that you know that this is my prepositional phrase and my subject is not inside of this prepositional phrase. So look at number 2. Go ahead right now, and I want you with your pencil to put your prepositional phrases in parentheses because you have 2. So on is a preposition, and we know the phrase is going to end with a noun or a pronoun, so it's on the rock. And then your other prepositional phrase is near the tree. So now all of these are gone, and you know that can't be your subject and that can't be your verb. So that should make it easier, okay? So then label the rest of your sentence, and then here's your key. Please fill that out. I'm going to check for that. And then diagram it here, okay? So this is the last thing I'm going to check for. Please do it with a pencil so that if you mess up, you can erase it, okay? And we'll go over this tomorrow. All right, y'all let me know if you have any questions. Bye, love you. See you later. Probably tomorrow.